Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about teen text messages. Join us as we explore the unique and special years when the conversations teens have with their parents are sarcastic, blunt, and hilariously funny. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about a funny Instagram account we all follow. It's called the Leighton Show, and you may have seen his reels, which are primarily funny text messages teens send to their parents. And something I appreciate about this account is how much less alone it makes me feel. How about you, Julie and Mindy?
Yeah, when I need a good laugh, I go to this account and just scroll through. Not that I've experienced every one, but it gives you a feeling of solidarity. You know, kids are kids.
Mm-hmm. Yes, me too, Julie. They're so relatable, a lot of them. And then I just completely lost track of time as I just was endlessly reading all of the comments and all the people that it struck a chord with. So definitely got me laughing too, making light of a situation that can maybe sometimes be frustrating.
And I like that a lot of them are questions. And one parent said, I just love it when they leave home. All of a sudden they ask questions. Before that, I apparently knew nothing.
That's really good. Yeah. But I was thinking, I only actually have teenagers another few months. My youngest two will turn 20 in May. So I know. So we are I can notice that we're on the tail end of the teen years. Like we don't have as many of these types of questions and texts anymore, especially the sarcastic, like digs at your parent type ones. Mm-hmm. But I still find them funny, and it's just refreshing for me. One, it's kind of funny to look back on, and two, to know that, my kids weren't the only ones doing that. Like, this is kind of a common thing. So I love his account.
Yes. For me, I had to think, I haven't had teens in a while, so I had to think back more on just conversations, less on text messages. But yeah, I could definitely remember a few that we laughed over.
Well, I think what we wanted to do was just kind of go through some of our favorites, just the ones that really got us laughing, and just kind of share why and how you could relate to it. So, Julie, what was one of your favorites that you saw?
Well, I kind of noticed there were some common themes, and I really liked the driving ones.
Okay.
So one said, this is like a dad saying, get your tires rotated. And her said, why? Don't tires rotate themselves as you drive? And I really got a kick out of that one because John's main conversations with our kids through text were to check on their cars. He was always checking on their cars. So I can see one of my kids maybe asking that. I might have asked that if my dad had texted me that when I was a teenager. Another one said, I don't like driving at night. You can't see the pedals.
That's funny.
That's kind of scary. And this one was funny. It says, Mom, I hit some guy and he asked me for my name and insurance card. Creepy.
Yeah, I like the driving ones too. One funny one was, can I leave a parking space if the meter hasn't run out yet? Mindy, you're teaching someone to drive right now. You could probably really relate to these.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we just finished. I mean, he's 16 now, so he just is on his own, but we're still always talking about this. And so definitely relatable. One of my favorite driving ones too, though, along with you guys, all of these are just hilarious. But one I wrote down was, what blinker should I use to go straight?
Wow.
When I was driving with my oldest son, he asked me if I'd ever gone 100 miles an hour. And there's nothing to put fear into the heart of a mom teaching a boy to drive, knowing that that's even in his mind. Like, have you ever gone 100 miles an hour? And that obviously means that he would like to try going 100 miles an hour. And that just strikes fear into the heart of every mom.
Right. And have your kids ever asked you, like, looking at the miles that you're going or how fast you're going, the speedometer? And they're like, but it says I can go 160.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, no.
I remember thinking that myself. Mindy, since your kids are just learning to drive, do you know if they mark themselves as organ donors?
Oh my goodness. We did have to talk about that. And so they did. I let them make that choice. But did you guys see some of the stuff about the organ donors.
Yeah, apparently that was a pretty common text. Like a lot of kids were afraid to mark themselves as organ donors because apparently they thought that they could just call you up and randomly ask for an organ.
Oh,
no.
That it wasn't only if you died.
Right.
Julie, I saw one where it said the kid was looking at the mom's license and saw that she had marked organ donor, and the kid asked her which organ she had donated.
Oh my goodness.
I liked some of the holiday ones. What are peppermint sticks at Christmas called? Shaped like a cane.
Oh.
And then someone else wrote, it seems like Thanksgiving's on Thursday a lot.
Like, I call that one a lot.
It's just funny that kids have grown up with the holidays, but yet they can miss like these obvious things about them. Or can I use a Christmas stamp to mail something to July?
Yeah.
The post office is very mysterious to my kids. Like they hardly ever mail anything. And so I've seen them address things completely wrong. I've seen them not really know, like my daughter, she wanted me to mail her some cookies last fall. So I made them, I mailed them. Then every day she kept on asking me, my cookies didn't arrive. Why aren't my cookies? I said, Dad dropped off at the post office. I have the receipt. Like they should be there by now. And she didn't even know how her mailbox worked, came to find out at college. She was living in an apartment because the mailman had put a slip in there saying you have a package. Well, apparently she didn't even open the mailbox. I don't know if she just peered in or if she didn't know where it was, if she expected the package to show up on her doorstep. But it was like 10 days before she got these cookies. And of course they were stale. But like the post office is just very mysterious. She actually had to flag down the postman one day and ask him, like, my mom sent me cookies. Do you know where they could be? Like, explain to me how I would get these cookies.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of questions about sending letters, and I know from my own experience, my kids were always asking about that. Like, what do you put? You know, where do you put their name, and where do you put your own name, and how do I know how many stamps to put? You know, and where do I put them? And then I saw one kid ask, "Do I stack them on top of each other or put them in a line?" You know, like one stamp over another. You know. And then in our family, we have a running joke. We do cards for birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, things like that. So David would always put his own name on the envelope. Like if it's Mother's Day, I would get a card and it would say David on the envelope. And he said, well, how else are you supposed to know who it's from? And so, you know, I said, well, if we had a stack of cards here from everybody, if they all said David, you know, I said, everybody knows who it's to because it's Mother's Day or it's somebody's birthday. And I don't think he would sign the card on the inside. He just put his name on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the inside where you write your name.
Yeah. He'd always write something, but he wouldn't sign his name, you know. So now to this day, he's 25 and we just know he's going to do that, you know, funny. Because he just wants to keep up the tradition.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
There were so many on basically your teens being embarrassed by you. And to me, like, that's where I'm at in life, right in the middle of all of that. So all of those really struck a chord. And this is probably where most of my content comes from for our conversation. So basically, I'll title this section of what I'm going to talk about things you shouldn't do if you have a teenager. And the very first one was breathe. Ask questions or want any kind of conversation. That was definitely one that, or like emojis or punctuation. Like some of the things that I found on the Insta page was your kid telling you to make your Instagram private. Don't wave at my friends when you pick me up. Stop liking my friends' post on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
This one I love. Do I have to go on family vacation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a kid want to opt out of family vacation?
Well, we've actually let one of ours opt out before, Isaac. Not when we were going as a whole family, but when two of the kids had left and it was just Lydia, Lauren, and Isaac left. And let's see, he opted out of going to Disney World. wanted to stay home and watch March Madness instead. That speaks it all to his personality.
Yeah.
So he opted out of that. We went to the Grand Canyon in Sedona, and the whole last day he opted out of participation. He said, if I look at one more, he goes, I cannot bear to look at one more red rock. Like he's the one that will opt. Oh, we were going to go to Europe. This was in 2020. It got canceled. Yeah. Just the twins were going with us. Isaac said he would rather stay home than come. So yes, he is one who will opt. Pretty much the only family vacation that he likes is going to the beach. He's not a big, let's go on tours, let's sightsee type of person.
Wow. Well, I mean, and it sounds like it works better for your family. I know that we've had Grant opt out of certain family vacations. Like he was the only one that had to work or football practice or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, he really doesn't care to be cooped up in a car, like driving with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were certain times that we let him opt out too. And he was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But more embarrassing texts from the teens, being embarrassed by you. You can pick me up now. Just park where nobody can see you.
Yeah. I remember feeling like that as a teen.
Yes. One of the comments was, can you turn your music off when I open the door?
Yeah, I saw, can you drop me off here? Don't come inside, even if the mom invites you in. And I thought, I know my kids either said this or thought it, because probably more so with John, because he would have certainly gone in and had an hour-long conversation with the parent.
Right.
Oh.
And I know they could foresee that, and we're just trying to, preempt that.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought this one was funny about not embarrassing them. It said, don't bring homemade. We don't need to look like pilgrims.
I had that one down too. Yeah.
I mean, who would think that?
I know. I loved that one.
In our generation, bringing homemade is like a treat. And in their generation, you don't want to look like a pilgrim.
I noticed that there were a lot of comments surrounding food with your kids that were embarrassing. And I remember thinking this was more true with boys than girls. I don't know, if my daughter was having friends over, it seemed pretty acceptable to have homemade and special treats and nice teas. But with boys, I had written down, don't make homemade. We don't need to look like pilgrims. Don't offer my friends food or drink. Like, I think boys wanted to appear more like bachelors, not having their mom fussing over them, Mom, we don't want food that's already here. We'll DoorDash.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
How about this one? All my friends are there. Walk normal.
Oh, walk normal. What does that even mean?
Even the way we walk. And Julie, here's a food one. Did Dad seriously just offer my friend pork schnitzel for dinner?
I saw one. My friends are coming over. Tell Dad to stay in the basement.
Those
poor dads.
ones are hilarious.
Yeah.
I like the text where it said, Mom, why is Dad calling me?
Yeah.
And in our house, we get a lot of tell Dad not to follow my friend, or tell Dad not to like my friend's post, or why is Dad following my friend? Like,
yeah, you tell Dad is what I would say. Yeah, I saw, you must delete your account. My friends have found you, I think is what it said. Like it's all over now.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the more annoying texts that I get that I try just not to even respond to for a while. Maybe they won't need it after a while, but this is not just with Amazon. This could be my Netflix, my Verizon, anything. Can you send me the login for Amazon? Or can you send me the login for Verizon or Prime or AT&T or YouTube? No, because one, I don't really remember it. It's like saved on my iPhone, and there are a bunch of little dots on the password, and I don't know what the password is, but I don't want to go in and change it. Like, and I don't want you changing it either.
Well, I feel like that's what happens in my house is like with our vehicles, my boys always disconnect my phone. And so when I turn my vehicle on, like it connects to their phone first, and I have to go in and add mine back. I'm like, this is my car.
Yeah, that's really super annoying.
Leave my car alone.
You get locked out of your car. You get locked out of your own account. No one can remember who the last person was that changed it. It's like, no, leave all the logins alone.
Exactly.
Well, you know what my son does, who is 29, on Amazon and Prime, you know how they have the little emojis for who's watching?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he creates his own and changes them for the whole family.
Oh,
So everybody's always embarrassed to find out who they are. It's usually something kind of,
that you don't want to be.
except for my mom. He always keeps her like a sheep or something cute,
Okay.
but everybody else gets something to kind of tease them or make fun of.
Okay, there was one comment about emojis. It was a kid that told his mom, he said, "Stop using emojis. You're doing it wrong."
But then from my girls, if I don't use enough emojis, I get, "Are you mad at me?" So
yeah. I did get that one a lot. Like, why are you so angry? And I was like, I'm not angry. Well, I can just tell. And I said, how can you tell? Well, you didn't put a smiley face afterwards. Or
no.
So I've learned to put all hearts and smileys and everything. If I'm just, not even just normal.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about this, like using punctuation is like a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of comments surrounding punctuation. And one of my favorites was the way you used that period felt very passive aggressive. I'm not sure if that's what you were going for.
Another thing you shouldn't do with teenagers is you should not say quarter of or phrases like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I saw they thought quarter of was 25 because a quarter is 25 cents.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Well, I have had, so one thing that's happening in my house a lot right now, and I laugh it off with my son, Jacob, my senior in high school. He has asked me before, first of all, the first thing is he says, "Can you try not to look so happy when you see me in public?" Like, what are my alternatives? And then the other thing that he consistently does, it drives me crazy, but he will have certain parties at school. He will not tell me he's supposed to take something. He will consistently show up to the party with nothing. And so then I look bad because it looks like I did not send anything to help with the food or anything like that. And he doesn't tell me these things. And I'm like, he's old enough. He should be telling me. I don't expect the teacher to reach out.
Right.
But I'm like, you're making me look bad. You're making me look real bad.
Well, Mindy, I guess showing up with nothing is better than looking like a pilgrim.
Apparently so.
I like this one. Are you going to be near Chipotle today or no?
Yeah.
I get things like this from my college kids. Like, if you see any good deals at Fleet Feet on these Hokas, will you let me know? Okay, I already know what that means. Will you please go and buy me these shoes? I need these shoes. I'm not just randomly popping into Fleet Feet to look at shoes, but they don't want to just flat out ask you. So it's like, oh, or are you going to be near this certain store or not? It's like, okay, what do you want from there? Like, this is a passive aggressive way of hinting.
Do they actually expect you to just text them, "Oh, I popped into Fleet Feet. Yeah, they're on sale."
That's what you should do.
Like,
I saw a great sale. I love the ones concerning money. Like, Mom, how do I charge you for these pants I just bought?
Oh.
Or, Mom, can you Apple Pay me? The guy at the counter is waiting for his money. And then the best one was, can you send me a picture of your signature? Don't ask questions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just going to send my Social Security, my credit card, my signature out for whatever, whatever you might need.
I saw one along that same lines, Julie. It was like, "Hey, I forgot my lunch at school. So can you bring that in $300?
One was, you might live with a teenager if, and the number one thing was, you've been blocked. And the other day, my daughter said, "Hey, did you see so-and-so's Instagram story for Valentine's Day?" And I said, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I didn't see it because he blocked me." I forgot I'm blocked from him.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, I think eventually they'll grow out of blocking me. I don't know.
Well, one of my sons is terrified of spiders. So I thought it was fun to send him random pictures of spiders. Sometimes very huge fake spiders, whatever, or those ones that look like they just pop out of nowhere. I thought that was funny. I mean, because, they're not real. Well, he said, "Mom, you're one picture away from getting blocked." And when we started our new family group chat, we had to lay down some rules and boundaries. And that was one of them, is no spider pictures. And for the longest time, I thought he was just kidding. So I would keep sending them. He was like, "Mom, that's it." So funny.
I know that my kids will have like one Instagram account they let me follow and then one that's just for their friends.
Yeah.
And I'm not allowed there. And
No.
also I've been told to stop commenting, liking, or tagging them in certain pictures or posts. And so I try to like totally be on my best behavior so they don't block me.
Right. Yeah, it's tricky with teenagers and Instagram because I was told so many times not to comment on a post, that they put up. And yet then sometimes I would get texts, "Did you see my post? Comment and like." So sometimes they want me to comment and like. And then so now I pretty much only do emojis because I think, well, can they really get down on me for emojis on Instagram? And then recently one of them, I think they must be growing out of it. She's like, "How come you never write any words? You always just put emojis." And I wanted to say, hello, flashback. Remember 2 years ago when you were on me because I actually used words?
Oh my goodness, Marie. You came full circle.
I know. I guess I can write things again.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Of course, when your kids go to college, you start getting a lot of food questions. So this one was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Pork chops are part of chicken, right?
Yep.
I got one the other day was my roommate bought a rotisserie chicken on Monday, but she hasn't eaten it. And this was Friday. Do you think it's safe for me to eat tonight? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, does it smell? But like, I get a lot of, is this okay for me to eat now? Do you think this would be expired? Yeah. And that's a heavy load to lay on your mom because I don't know if you're going to end up in the bathroom.
Yeah, I can't smell it over here.
I literally wish some of my kids would ask if certain food is still okay because I have a child that likes to leave food in their car.
Oh.
And I don't know how much time passes before they think it's still okay to eat it. And I'm like, you cannot do that.
Right. Yeah. I noticed in one of the comments that a mom wrote into him where she said, "My daughter got chicken from a restaurant the night before. Then she called me the next morning and said, 'Do you think this is still good? I had the fan on it all night.'" No, throw it away right now. Throw it away.
Yes. All the things surrounding food were hilarious. There was a lot of how kids didn't know that like ham came from a pig.
Well, one said they thought ham was its own animal.
Yes. Or they thought like ground beef came from the ground.
What?
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
Oh, my favorite comment was this family was at a restaurant and they ordered pizza and they told the waitress, "We'd like pepperoni on half the pizza." And she said, "Which half would you like the pepperoni on?"
You pick. One of my favorites was, I guess they were driving past a field and they said, "Are those cows in that field pasteurized or unpasteurized?" And one of the most common questions that I could not believe was, "How do you know when water is boiling?"
That's funny because you think they would just Google that or YouTube it.
Yeah.
Or had seen it.
Well, true.
Oh my goodness. I saw a comment about a kid that had was at the grocery store and they texted their mom, "Mom, I'm looking for where the elbow grease is at."
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
That's one of those old phrases, I guess, that.
Yeah, like elbow grease. There's so many things that you think they know, but they've heard it. Like someone put, "I tried a cologne at the store I want for Christmas. The brand is called Tester."
Let's see. One lady wrote in, "My 17-year-old just asked me if chocolate comes from cows."
Yeah, you just, and these are serious questions.
I liked, "Mom, are you cooking something sus?" I saw that a lot.
That's right.
And I could relate because my son would text me, "What's for dinner tonight?" Early in the morning. And I thought, how are you even thinking about it? I've shared this before, but he said, "I always need to know if it's something to look forward to or dread."
Oh, yeah.
I do love that. I do love that so much.
Yeah. And someone else said that the meal was too basic. It was like chicken and noodles.
Oh.
Apparently we could be serving too basic of meals too.
Yes. I saw a comment about how does the rice multiply once it's in the pot?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of funny cooking. And I would sometimes like to just be a fly on the wall to see what kind of meals my college kids are putting together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you guys remember, I think we talked about this a couple of years ago, like my college age daughter did this to me, and it was this big joke going around on social media. And it was basically ask your mom how to microwave the turkey for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
do you remember that?
I do kind of remember that. Yes.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Like, it was literally the reverse of all of this. They were trying to like throw their mom under the bus.
Right.
But, okay, Marie, for some reason, this comment reminded me of something I feel like you've said, one of your girls has said to you. But the comment was, I told my kids I got groceries. And they responded, congrats on fulfilling minimal legal responsibilities as a mother.
I don't know if they've said that, but I could see him. I could see Isaac saying that to me. He has several of these. They're kind of these reels where it's like, it's a famous quote from a movie like, have you ever been in love? No, I don't think so. Do you want me to explain it to you? And so that over those words, he puts like, do you have teenagers or have you ever had a teenager? No. Do you want me to explain it to you? Then he'll just put a bunch of random pictures. And so the one I thought was funny, it's like, starts out with like, all the silverware is gone except for the knives. So like the forks, and there's like one spoon left.
It's always the spoon.
Yeah. And then there's a huge pile of shoes. Mindy, you've talked about your mudroom before about just there being like shoes that multiply. There's probably shoes that your kids don't even own. They're probably a friend's shoes in there. Mm-hmm. And then cereal boxes wide open. And then the last one I thought was so funny, just an open toilet seat with just dollar bills. Basically, you're just flushing money down the toilet. If you have a teenager, like, there goes your money.
Oh, my God.
But one that he also had was a fender bender, like a picture of your vehicle with the bumper either cracked. And I have 5 teenagers, and all 5 of them have been in car accidents, and none of them have been major car accidents. They've all been fender bender type car accidents. Even the one who totaled his car, it was in a parking lot. So yeah, it was more than a fender bender, but he wasn't even going fast and the airbag went off and totaled it. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I was just thinking about, how do you know you have teenagers? If you have a lot of car indents and things like that. And earlier this fall, I bet I had talked to this daughter twice on Tuesday, twice on Wednesday. And Wednesday night, I get like this crying phone call. Oh my goodness, I hit someone in a parking lot. I don't even know if I hit a mom. Like, I bumped them. I left a note and I didn't hear from them for a day. So I thought, well, maybe they're not going to call. And now he just called and said he's getting an estimate. And I was like, okay, I have you literally call me about how do I know if water's boiling? And yet for 4 phone calls, you don't mention that you hit someone on my insurance in a parking lot, left a note. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, what kind of car was it? You know, thinking, I hope it's a 2003 Sentra.
Yeah.
It was a BMW. It's like, could you not hit like another college kid? So I think it was like a 2023 BMW or something.
No.
So we did end up paying out of pocket for that, and she paid part of it too. But just the whole point of like, you can have teenagers and they can text you about the smallest of things.
Right.
And then she completely leaves out the fact that she's hit someone in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I saw one text was, I don't know, Mom, why are you so mad? The lady I hit wasn't even this mad.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when I will ever stop seeing their name pop up when I'm not expecting it and immediately go to, oh my goodness, have they been in a car accident?
Yeah.
Oh, no. One of the things that that I wrote down, just thinking about my own experiences, is right now my boys really love to make fun of me. And they have all these pictures saved. I'm talking all 3 of my sons have saved the worst pictures of me. You know, like where I don't know you're taking a picture.
Yes.
I've had, you know, like dermatologist work and I have like Band-Aids on my face. Oh, they saved these pictures. Well, there is this one particular picture. I'm going to call it the worst hairdo childhood photo. It's literally like the awkward family photos. Well, I have one of those, and it was framed and hanging on the wall at my Meemaw's house. They all have this picture saved on their phones. because they have gone to her house and taken a picture of it, and they've got it like at random, almost like to keep me in check. They're like, Mom, I've got your picture. Like a threat.
Yeah.
Like some birthday post to you could include that picture. Happy birthday, Mom. And then here's a childhood memory.
Well, Mindy, let me tell you, that doesn't go away just because they're not teenagers anymore. My son has a file that he keeps, and I can ask him, like, if I need this picture, then I just say, Andrew, I need you to pull up this picture because I know you have it. I have me sleeping on a plane. So like your mouth is open and he's like zoomed in really close.
No.
I have a picture where I'm sitting out on the back deck and I have a pen in my hand, but it's kind of between my fingers, like you would hold a cigarette. It looks like I'm smoking. Okay. So he has that one. Then another one, I'm drinking a root beer that happens to be in a brown bottle and I'm driving. And so he has that picture that looks like I'm drinking and driving.
Stop it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And then I have a picture of me in a hat at a gift shop that was really ridiculous. And I'm making this stupid face. Like it's so embarrassing. And so he has that one. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to live these down. Yeah. It's just.
If you ever run for office, a couple of those might be coming out, Julie.
Yeah. They're so incriminating. I know.
I feel like these are the pictures we need to share with our listeners. If there's one in particular.
I know. I should probably just bring those out, and like that would just free me of the whole blackmail thing, you know?
It really would. Like I'm telling you, because Grant has a folder on me too, Julie. That it must be something about our grown sons.
Yes, he loves to do it. And there's this one other picture, and he has posted this. It's not embarrassing, but I'm trying to think of his name now. The singer, Meyer, what's his first name? John Mayer. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So back when the doppelganger thing was really big, you know, like posting your picture, there's a picture of John Mayer. He has long brown hair and he has a hat on. Well, I'm at the beach and I'm in a hat in my bathing suit in the kitchen, and he put those two side by side. I look just like John Mayer. So yeah, that would be fun. We should post those, and then it'll just.
That would be.
I don't think my kids have a file, but I'm hoping they don't listen to this and get the ideas.
Maybe you just don't know about it, Marie.
True.
They might come out with it after they hear this, Marie. But I was going to tell you, my 16-year-old just the other day showed me where he saved a video of me when it's several years old now. But basically, it's me instructing all of my sons on how to close the toilet seat lid, because I'd hit a point where I'm like, you guys seem to not know how the toilet seat lid works. So come in here and let me show you. Well, little did I know, they videoed me showing them how to close the toilet seat lid.
Right. That's funny. There were several texts that they had about like mom or dad, but usually like bruh or something like that.
Yeah.
Bruh,
Yeah,
don't
dude.
wear that, you know. And I can remember when my daughter was in college, my oldest, and we were going to come up for the day to help her move into an apartment. And she told me not to wear, I think, like my workout clothes. And I just remember saying, like, was that even an option? Like, would I have worn that? Did she really need to like spell that out? But that was with my oldest. Now I'm pretty much immune to that. I've discovered that is just like common. Like teenagers think you don't know how to dress. And if you do show up somewhere looking nice, their jaw drops. Like they can't believe, Mom, you look nice. Mom,
Right.
that's a nice.
Shocker.
Like, where are you going, Mom?
Yeah.
Right.
What's up? Well, this just happened to me recently. This is so embarrassing. I was in the kitchen and I was thinking I needed to stretch because I have very tight hamstrings, and my trainer's been saying, you just need to stretch like all day long, you know. So I put my foot up on the island and I'm stretching, and David's at the sink, and he literally looked over and it looked like he had acid sprayed in his eyes. He was like, Mom, can you not do that?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what is wrong?
Oh my
Apparently it
goodness.
was just way too much for him to see. I thought, okay.
Yes. My kids have had to tell me not to dance in public if there's any kind of song on. I mean, this seems so obvious, but also for me to not move my body to a good song is just not me.
Right.
So they know this. Like my body just starts moving and they're like, please do not. Don't dance. No moving.
Well, I don't, they still do this, but not as often. if I enjoy any song, if I even indicate that I like this song, they immediately change the station. They don't want there to be anything that I enjoy listening to. Maybe because they just think it's too weird to see your mom enjoy herself.
Or you might start singing.
I know. I can remember driving some places with my kids, and sometimes if I didn't like the song, I'd just pretend I did, because then I knew that they would change the station. I wouldn't have to hear that song anymore.
Well, I know that all of my emotions just trip up my son, Jacob. So he's the one that had asked me, like, not to look so happy when I saw him in public. And also, like, when he has good news to share, he is so reluctant to tell me because he knows I'm going to be so excited. So he will preface his statement with, I know you're going to be excited about this. Can you try to, like, you know, keep yourself calm? And I'm like, seriously, I'm so excited and celebrating you. And he just like rolls his eyes and he'll get a little sly smile.
Yeah. I don't think teenagers like parental emotion one way or the other. Like, you need to just, you're supposed to be a body existing to drive them from place to place and feed them. And
you're not a human.
Yeah, they don't really want to know that you have emotions or you have fun or you ever have any thoughts or feelings. Nothing.
Right. Well, I know I have a son. My youngest has always been this way. I just thought he was going to grow out of it. But talking about our teens embarrassing us, every time I would take him to a park as a little kid, the other kids would be playing on the park, and I would see Nathan over begging food off of some family having a picnic.
Oh.
Okay. So Nathan goes to a friend's house just the other night. He happened to pop in when they were having dinner. Well, I'm sure they were just being nice, and they're like, oh, do you want some? Well, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, Nathan, we're having dinner at home as soon as you got home. He was like, but I wasn't sure if I was going to get a full meal or not. So I went ahead and ate.
What? Like, you don't feed him?
Did he eat twice?
Yes. But it's so embarrassing.
I wouldn't know if you were going to cut me off, so this was my chance to.
Yeah. I don't turn down food.
I had a few more that really didn't fit into any certain category, but I just laughed out loud. One of the first ones I saw was, Mom, did you ever pick me up? The back of my head is so flat. Like, moms get blamed for everything.
Right.
I couldn't get the plunger to work, so I just scooped everything out with the dog bowl.
Ew!
Oh!
And then I didn't even think, well, where did they put it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for real.
That's so gross. Mom, I left a hot dog on the mantle. Can you please put it in the fridge?
Oh, my goodness.
I thought, well, at least they remembered.
Right.
Okay, how does that happen?
Yeah.
I know I picked out two that just didn't really fit anywhere, but I thought they were hilarious. One was, I'm swooping by the house with a friend. Could you clean it, please?
I had that one too, Mindy.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Then another one was, I have to hand you a rose at the ceremony. Don't make it weird.
I saw this one. Happy Mother's Day. I Venmo'd you $6.
The Venmo has really added a lot of different things, I think, to our text messages that maybe wouldn't have been there without Venmo. Like, I frequently get things like, can you buy my coffee? And then like a bunch of emojis. Or, I'm out to lunch. Can you please pay for it? But I think that if it wasn't so easy to Venmo, they wouldn't really think about asking you to do that.
It's so true. It's so true. And so then they learn to ask, like, to put it out there on social media. Like, there's some starving child, you know, like my coffee fund or something like that. Okay, one that cracked me up, another rando comment. Talk to your teenagers about farmers markets. You don't actually buy farmers there.
Oh.
I could relate to this one. You can be honest, Mom. Am I adopted? I seriously got that from my middle child a lot.
Really?
Growing up, which is funny because he's my twin.
I was
like,
going
we
to
look
say,
just
looks
alike.
exactly like you.
Yeah, but he would always say, you can tell me, Mom. No, seriously, you can tell me.
Well, the good thing about this account is, I think, what I said at the beginning, and we're going to link this account in our show notes. You know, one of the things we've said over and over again is just how lonely and isolated you can feel raising teenagers and college students. And some of these things we might not have even shared with our friends because maybe we didn't know, hey, are these normal text messages?
Normal.
Yeah. And so this account just really makes you laugh at the years that you're in. Yes, you're normal. Yes, all the kids are doing this. No, you didn't fail that your kid doesn't know when water's boiling. Like, there's a lot of kids that go off without a lot of basic skills, and they're going to learn them. So it's just really refreshing to read an account like that.
Also, it really helps keep it lighthearted because some of those things could really be stressful, but being able to laugh and, commiserate with other moms and dads just helps kind of take advantage of this special and unique season that we have with our kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it helps you to not take things personally. Like it's not, someday your kid will want to be seen with you. Someday they will appreciate the conversation or the text or the emotions. They will.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, listeners, we'd love to hear what you have on this topic. We'd love to know if you've ever watched The Leighton Show or if you go and follow him because we've done an episode about him. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have anything funny that your teenager has texted you that we didn't cover today, we'd love to hear about it. You can find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
All right. I'm a fan of art for your TV.
Oh.
The inspiration here is there's a television called the Samsung Frame TV, where the TV looks like art when it's not on, and then it's just a regular TV when you're watching it. I do not have that kind of TV. Those are really expensive, and when we looked at them, my husband had read that they were great for art, but not the best TVs. So we did not get one. But my TV hangs next to the fireplace. I've moved it off of the fireplace, but it's just a dark black hole on the wall, and there's just not a lot of light in that corner. So I searched for art screensaver on YouTube, not YouTube TV, but just on YouTube. And you can find copies of well-known art like Monet and Van Gogh, or you can just find some other original art, nautical art. So right now I have these summer landscapes that are up, and sometimes they'll play as a slideshow and change every 20 minutes. And some will play for hours, 5 or 6 hours. Some have music, but I'm not really interested in that. So you can just mute the TV, but it's kind of nice if you have somebody over or, just want to brighten up that wall.
Are they kind of realistic looking?
Like if it's a Monet, it's the exact painting. You know what I mean? But it's like the Samsung Frame TV is not backlit, so it looks like the Kindle Paperwhite.
Okay.
It's not actually light. So that would look like a real painting.
Okay.
This is going to look like your TV because it's bright. And in that sense, it doesn't look like the actual art on canvas, but it is the painting,
Yeah. And at least it's not just like you said, a black box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
This week, I'm a fan of Target sandals. Every year, I always want to kind of update my summer sandals. I don't spend a lot on some of those. They're really kind of fast fashion for me. But this particular year, I have found 2 sets of sandals from Target that I absolutely love, and they're doing much better about making them comfortable.
Okay.
So there's one in particular that's basically open in the back. They're black, they're flat. I could wear them with so many different things, and they're so cheap. And so I'm just thrilled that I'm able to go there and find something that's that easy. And right now, I like shopping because they still have my size available.
Oh, right.
Not that they won't get them in again, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of Target sandals for the summer.
Oh, that's great.
I did notice a lot of really cute ones the last time I was there.
All right. I'm a fan this week of something that I finally finished, The Crown. And I've been watching it since it came out. I don't know if it came out in 2016 or 2017 or when it came out, but first they had the first 2 seasons, and then they kind of took a long break, and then they had the seasons 3 and 4, and then they took such a long break that I kind of lost interest. And so I think it was in January I decided, you know what, I'm going to finish season 5 and 6. And I really was interested in it because it was a lot of the Princess Diana years. And it was so good. Season 5 and 6 is really good. The woman that plays Diana, I saw this week that she just won an award for it. I mean, she is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So good. Looks so much like her. I feel like sounds like her. Like just did such a great job. I just loved season 5 and 6. And so if you've been watching The Crown like me, but then, you kind of lose interest because it takes them so long to finish. Season 6 is the last one. So if you finish 5 and 6 now, you're all caught up. They aren't going to make any more. And it's just such a good show. I mean, whoever had the vision from the very beginning to the end, they really did have a lot of vision because the actors and actresses change as they get older, but I've enjoyed all of them. A lot of people will say to me, well, I quit watching when I really liked the first Queen. But if you really just put that aside, you really grow to love all the people that play the Queen and all the people that play each one. And it's much more realistic that they didn't try to age someone in their 20s to look 80. So, it's really good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I loved the first season was my favorite. And then I did kind of lose interest in the middle, partly because of the actors change, but just the time it took to make. But the last two, I would say they redeemed themselves. Like they were really great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing, Julie. I loved the beginning, got lost in the middle. Also, I was depressed about Charles and Diana. Like their relationship totally depressed me. So then I just picked it back up at the end and loved it again.
Yeah. So anyways, highly recommend you finish up The Crown if you haven't finished it yet. Mindy and Julie, thanks for talking with me about this today. It's fun to know that we're not the only ones.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was a funny topic.
Great to laugh about it all, that's for sure.
Yes. All right, well, we'll talk to you next week.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right, bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.